Hi everyone. So this is Ashok Kumar Sarvepalli. So I'm going to start a Python course where it will be more useful for the beginners in programming who have no knowledge in programming at all. They can get started. Useful for school students, college students, particularly more useful for students in high school who are very who want to start with programming and improve their what you call logical skills. So the course is more driven by more programs like logical thinking. So that is my intention, right? I'm not going to spend much time on setting things up because students should know the basics things, right? So they if you have the website and everything, it's all easy nowadays. Nowadays people able to even set up a lot of things, right? In mobile, people set up games, so this should be also straightforward. Right, I will show quickly what is Python and how it is useful. Then a few things about what are the different editors or what are the different IDEs. IDEs are what are the different tools we can run a Python program. So it's quite easy and we can get started. And as the course progresses, we will see a lot of logical programs and logical things as we move forward. Okay. So first, little bit introduction. Python was in given to us are developed by Guido van Rossum in 1991. Okay, so Python is evolved very good and it's a very high level programming language. It's very easy to program. That's an important thing, and it's more very good useful for more mathematical things like manipulations, calculations. So that's why people, if you see like machine learning and other things, people prefer Python, right? So the thing is, if you want to solve any algorithm or logical problem, it can be easily done with lesser number of code, lesser lines of code in Python than in any other language generally. Okay, so there are a lot of tools to run Python. First, from Python website itself, so you have something like, let me show quick. We have something like, if you go to python.r, you can download that, and that is more of like idle. So once you download, you will get a tool named, you can search for idle, either it's a windows or Mac. So if you open idle, it will look like this. So this is the place where you type Python. So this is a Python shell. So Python, if you see, Python is an interpreted language. What do you mean by interpreted language? So it's a very high level language. When you say interpreted language, it runs the code line by line, and it takes the input and runs the code line by line. While it is running, if it finds an error, it reports. It doesn't read the whole file and generate the bytecode and you provide an input and it runs the file. That happens in Java, right? Other programming languages where it compiles, you have a process of compilation in the sense it reads the whole file, it reports any errors you have, and then the errors you rectify and you get a source, you get a binary file type of thing, bytecodes, and then from that you run the program, you get the output. But in Python, it runs line by line. It's an interpreted language. So when you say interpreted language, you have a, suppose you type 10 lines and you have an error in the 10th line. So you run a program. So it will run till 9 lines and then it will report an error at that time, right? So that's what it's all about. So inter program. So how we get started? So this is a Python shell. So you can type in the shell like this, you will get that. So just generally to print some values in Python, you just print in double quotes. So you see hello gets printed here. So this is a shell. So as you type, you enter whatever there, you get output. But generally as a program, we type few lines and then run the program, right? So for that, what you need to do is you can file, new file. We can start typing program here. Print hello world. You can say print welcome to Python programming, right? So all you need to do is you need to save this file. So when you say print, it will print in the console. So this is like a console you have. So you say, when you save file, so I'm going to save this as demo. So it automatically saves as demo.py. So how to run this? Go to run module. That's it. So you could see here, this is like a terminal for you, or this is like a console. If you guys are done for C or C++ programming, right? So you get hello world and welcome to Python program. Simple, whatever we type. So this is one of the editor. I recommend students who are in high school to use this rather than going to some other tools, because as you program, you get a feel of programming in a notepad, right? So that's how you get more practice to the syntax and other things. So to download this, go to python.org. You can download easily from here. What are the other tools you are available? So other good tools where you could see are, you have Anaconda. Okay, so you can download Anaconda from this URL docs anaconda.install. So what Anaconda does, it provides more powerful features. So not only basic Python things, because Python comes with a lot of libraries. Even apart from that, if you want to plot a diagrams, pie charts, you need little bit extra libraries. So Anaconda, if you use a tool like Anaconda, you can get those things quite easily. And how, once you have Anaconda, how it looks like installation, it looks like this. So it's simply like another IDE. So there are two things very popular: is a Jupyter Notebook and Spider. So once you launch Anaconda, right, it will ask for install button. Here I have already installed. So once you install these two things, you will see this launch button. So how this looks like. This is also another Python editor where you can see and work on it. I just gave launch for Jupyter Notebook. It looks like this, right? It opens in your browser, which is good, right? So you don't need any extraordinary things running. So you just open new and Python 3. So here it looks like this. So this is like your notepad, right? So you can simply type the content here, hello world, give run. So you get hello world here. So it's good, like as you type, it's very good for people who want to debug any program. As you type, as you evolve, right, you just keep on debugging the things, right? So it's a very good tool. Again, a Jupyter Notebook, correct? So suppose I want to do some logic, I want to see the output till that point, you can type and so on. Okay, so you can save your notebook at any point of time. So also this is more helpful in academic curriculum where people will give, I mean, like test cases, where you run the test cases from this place, you have your code, all those things, right? So as I said, our primary focus is to do a lot of logical programming. So let's wait for future sessions for that. And I also want to show Spider. So if you install Anaconda, you will get everything. All you need to do is, once you install Anaconda Navigator, you need to install each and every separate things. How a Spider looks like. Similar to IDLE, whatever I've shown. The only difference you will see is, you will see an editor like this, right? Correct. So all you need to do is, again, the same thing. Run it. You could see here, hello world. So basically, it's the same process again. So you have an editor here. It has some cool things you can debug. You can run a lot of things. You will see. So for our course purpose, I'm going to program an IDLE, sometimes maybe in Jupyter Notebook as well, but more frequently on IDLE. So the things we need to know is, like, people just Google, right, of compile, what is the difference between compiler and interpreter. On a high level, I gave the difference because the students need to know, right? They need to do some work apart from looking into the videos. They need to pass the videos and learn, right? It's not just listening to the videos in the mobile. If you listen to the videos in the mobile, you don't, for sure, you don't get anything in Python. All you need to do is, you need to have these videos, parallelly have the Python editor working parallelly, plus you need to do your own research in the Google, right? That's how you keep on learning. What I will do is, I will enhance the programming skills for sure as we progress. Okay, so Python is an interpreted language. So understand the difference between an interpreted and a compiler, right? So when you say interpreter, it runs the source code, It runs line by line and you input. Okay, it interprets. But a compiler compiles the entire program, right? And then you take the input after the program is compiled. Okay, so when in the process of compilation itself, it will show any syntax errors, any things that can be discovered that can be recommended in the compiling phase itself. What do you mean by compiling phase, right? You type a program. Program is a high level language. If it is human understandable, it has some syntax, it has some rules, right? So when you try to compile a program, that program is try to convert into machine understandable format, correct? So that's the process. So while compilation itself, if you type a syntax wrongly, it will show you what are the mistakes in your program, so you can correct it. And then you give a input. And while giving input, there may be runtime exception also. When you say runtime exceptions, you try to give a number, you try to divide by 0, so it's just not possible. So those type of things. And when you say interpreter, it runs line by line. At the time itself, it's going to take the input. It doesn't read the entire program and reports you at one time that this is the issues. Okay, so that's a difference. Go through what are the things on that, right? So now I'm going to yeah, here is idle. So I already ran the sample program, like hello world and welcome to programming. So in our next session, we are right set. We will see a few things like what is a variable in Python, what is constants, what is expressions, how you do multiple assignments and so on, right? Thank you.